Hey, Comic Impact, Sheldon here with you for, hey, this is Did You Catch All That? Don't get me wrong, I know you're like, weren't they just in a store? Yes, we are just in a store. Well, we're going to be. Look, regardless, let's talk about Comic-Con. This was a huge deal this month, and while lots of big comic news have come down the pipeline, you know, like the whole changeover with Marvel Now, we just think that we've dug in deep to try to get the best possible information we could out of all these great artists and writers during Comic-Con, and we don't want you to miss a thing. So what we've done is we compiled our very best and thrown it into this Did You Catch All That? Because we want to make sure that you caught all of it. Simon, you'll see me and Simon interviewing a lot of the best in the industry, and just truly nice people. Also, don't forget to check out new comic elements, because that's something new that came out this month. And yeah, that's it. So we're going to start rolling some of the footage. You guys enjoy it, sit back, and try to catch up with everything, so you can say at the end, when I ask you, did you catch all that, you could say yes. All right? Awesome.
Erik Larsen, the man that has been doing Savage Dragons for how many issues?
180.
Wow. Sir, how do you do it? Because you write it,
Yeah.
you draw it.
Exactly.
Do you letter your own book?
I have, but I don't recommend it.
You don't color your own book.
I have, but I don't recommend it. Yeah, no, I've done both. But
How do you do it? Seriously.
You know, it's one page at a time. It doesn't seem so impossible when you break it down into small bits.
Right. So are we ever going to see Dragon come back to Earth like this?
Yeah, he'll be back actually really soon.
Okay. For issue 200? Is that?
Oh, way before.
Okay.
Way before. Because we're gonna do finally a reveal with Overlord, and I want him to be around for that. So
Nice.
really, in the next couple issues, he'll be home.
Okay.
When it came to their costumes, I was very lucky. I got a lot of people helping me out. I was allocated a few characters to start off with, but I got to sort of get the final word on a lot of different contributions.
Are there any that are your favorites, sort of personal favorites right now?
The nice thing about being on a team book is that I get the variety to draw on a regular basis. But I have to say my favorite character drawer in this book so far is Jake.
Are there any? I know that sort of it's been teased that something big is coming, and that's kind of been the sort of whole big tease overall. Can you give us any hints as to where it might?
It's such a scary book to talk about.
Because you don't know what you can.
I don't know what James has been saying to people. I don't know what I'll get in trouble for.
As readers of the books will know, Ultimate Captain America and Peter Parker, Ultimate Spider-Man, had a relationship. And it was really hit Cap hard when Peter died. And so this is now Cap meeting the new Spider-Man and seeing exactly how that situation is going to play out.
Right. He hasn't met Miles yet.
Exactly. And I mean, think about, Cap, who's a pretty straight-laced, pretty conservative guy. How will he react to like another kid getting in the mask from what just happened to the previous kid? And so that comes into play, and it's been a lot of fun to draw.
But I'm a huge fan of Mouse Guard. What do you have in store for us? I know we still have one more Black Axe.
There's still one more issue of Black Axe. The fifth issue hasn't hit in print yet. Archaea released it digitally so far, so there are people who have already read the fifth issue, and it should be coming out in print very soon. I've still got one issue left to do.
Okay.
Once that's done, do a couple extras, bundle it up in a nice hardcover.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then right on the heels of that is going to be another volume of Legends of the Guard.
Oh, awesome.
Is it going to be like a reunion book? But
No, it's just something happened.
Okay. It's the beginning of a new era. Okay.
Just like when Skywriting appeared,
Right. People were like, oh my god, what is that?
Something different is going to happen that will radically change the status quo.
Can you give us a little hint?
No.
Okay, fine, be like that. Rob, can you give us any? No, I really can't.
It's just going to shock everybody.
Right. Okay. Agent Boyle?
Oh yeah, we're sold out. We had our first spin-off one-shot, Secret Agent Boyo. It's all gone.
Which was insane.
Yeah, we have crazy lines. I always think everyone's going to be sick of us. Like, we're going to go to these things and like, oh yeah, chew, not the new thing anymore, you know, whatever. It still sells.
I suppose, just to frame what I'm about to say, when we sat down to look at this project and look at all the characters we had, the one thing we realized pretty quickly when everybody started talking about what they were looking at doing was that every book was completely different. And that kind of became the unifying force behind it. And at that point, when we were looking at that and how we didn't have to sort of lock together, it got me thinking about Laurie. In that period of time right before she meets Dr. Manhattan, she's a teenager, and her mother's been pushing her towards this legacy sort of hero role. And I just thought, wow, there'd be a lot of conflict there, and maybe just a nice coming-of-age story, something very simple that takes place shortly before the Crime Busters meeting, so that we see how Laurie goes from being a rebellious kid to actually committing to the Silk Spectre identity. And so that's what we decided our story was going to be.
It's definitely different.
At Comic-Con on Wednesday night, it was the first time that Carl had seen it properly, first time that I'd seen it in a movie theatre, and the response was amazing, really, really good, and the reviews that were coming out the next day were incredibly good as well, so we're really, really happy with how people have taken to the film.
Cool, and you worked on the film, pre-production.
Yeah, I did. I was originally brought on board to draw the script as kind of like a comic book, basically. So it's something that they could give to actors to show visually, you know, because it's such a visual world that Dredd is. They wanted something that would show visually what that world was. So they brought me on board to do a comic the script. They wanted it quite quickly. So in fact, it isn't kind of finished art. It's kind of somewhere in between storyboards and a comic. Right. But I'd just come off doing some other concept art for another movie, and I was working through...
I think I know what that movie is. It's a remake of a David Lynch movie.
Dune. Well, it's another adaptation of a Frank Herbert novel. Okay. Might be a better way of putting it. Which isn't happening anymore, unfortunately. But,
it totally got canceled?
Yeah, the director changed, and then the rights kind of lapsed. So. But while I was working on the Dredd script, because the art was so fast, I was finding that I wanted to visualise some of the sequences much more. And having just come off the concept stuff, I started doing some painted concepts as well, which ended up being integrated. And then I was brought on as concept artist as well, to design the helmet and the gun, and you know, kind of had a hand in tonally the look of the city and the kind of.
Well, what I've seen from the trailer, it looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's.
If he starts interacting more, we definitely want to get him in there.
Well, and we also know you have Darkseid.
Oh, my favorite story about Darkseid is everyone keeps asking me if that's a 2-up. Mike, that's the actual size of him. He's actually, when we were developing the figure, I was talking to Jim Lee about it, and he's like, I'm like, well, Jim, like, you know, from the drawings in the book, I'm not really sure like how tall is he. And he's like, he thought for a minute, he goes, he's 2 Aquamans tall.
So did you literally stack
them? Yeah, so I
them
literally stacked them on Aquamans. We gave it to the sculptor and went, that's awesome. This is how tall he is. And I'd like to use that unit of measurement going for everything. How big is this? 2 Aquamans big.
It's like how many hands is he for the horse thing?
How many Aquamans long is that?
That's awesome.
And then it's like, oh, okay, thanks. Well, I was trying to disappoint. I was like, come on, where's my range? No, I can't stand it. I've been there for 3 months, and I'm like, whoa! Come on, I need some direction. I need
Right? You were on this book originally, and you're writing 2 stories technically. Yes. You want to tell us a little bit about each one?
They're good.
Well, yeah, I know. One of them was the pick of the week on the podcast, so there you go. That's good, right?
Ozymandias is maybe the hardest, well, it's actually, that's the second hardest book, I think, of the group to write, because despite everything, he's the character you know the least about.
Right.
So I have a lot of material to film. And the question becomes, since he's telling you the story, how much of what I'm filling in is true?
Right.
You know, because he's he's setting this up for posterity, and he could just be lying to posterity, so he sounds better when it comes out.
Right. So he felt like a hero in the first one.
Yes,
like he got picked on, his family died.
All true.
Right.
But some of his emotional commitments to other people aren't necessarily what he says they are. The hardest one is actually the Curse of the Crimson Corset, which I came up with when I was asked by Dan to do another tale of the Black Freighter. I said, why? He said, huh? I said, you know, the whole idea was that because superheroes were real in this version of the DCU, pirate comics became popular. Right. Why don't we tell a story from one of the other pirate comics? And he said, oh yeah.
Everybody loves her. It's kind of like the adult version of
Yeah, if you want the little kids, you go over to Mattel's. If you want the nice one, you come to Sideshow, right?
Yes, and people can either do, you know, single payment, or we have what we call a flex pay program where you can do payment installments and it's no interest whatsoever, just to help the collectors out, you know, just so they can get the piece.
How much is this beautiful?
$350.
Okay, pricey, but with the flex pay it works.
Yeah, it works.
Exactly. You don't need to eat for a week or a month. It's fine.
Top ramen.
Right.
You know, so yeah, you know, she's a 16-year-old girl who's very active.
And you kind of know something about, you know, 16-year-old girl. You were one.
Yeah, you know what? It makes me feel, you know, when I think about it, I feel a little, I feel a little misty about it because I don't fantasize as much as I used to. When I was, you know, a teenager, I used to just have this crazy imagination, and I think, you know, just work, even though you're supposed to have it for comics, you know, you're still always thinking about, oh, I got to make sure I, you know, hit this deadline, and I hope I have enough for toilet paper, and, you know, I got to make sure this gets taken care of, and, you know. So there's always, like, you know, the real world always weighs down on you and makes it so that you can't just daydream so much.
When I read The Court, I was like, wow, this is his big idea going in. And now to see Death of the Family, sort of a continuation of another big idea that sort of started at the very beginning. You have a lot of these pre-planned out already.
I have two more.
Two more already,
after Joker. Okay. Yeah, so
awesome.
There's one. The one after it, is going to go in a very different direction and explore a couple characters, other rogues, and some stuff that you'll see in Zero. It's really going to bring a lot of the Zero stuff back. Okay. And then it's so far in the future after that, I don't even get into it. Yeah, it's like a year ahead. So
it's pretty much like your books that you've been publishing in the past couple of years, but just digitally, right now?
Yeah, for people who already have Hi-Fi Color for comics or Master Digital Color in print, they know the type of art tutorial books that Hi-Fi produces. This is the same quality. You get 113 pages, over 12 tutorials. All the artwork for the tutorials is available to download, so you can follow along page by page. But because it's on the iPad and we don't have to worry about paper and printing and making CD-ROMs and DVDs, we can offer it at a really great price.
And plus you can have it with you anywhere you go, pretty much, as long as you have an iPad, right?
That's true. The point of this book is to show you how to turn your iPad into a portable art studio. With how to paint comic books for the iPad and a copy of Sketchbook Pro, you're going to learn everything you need to do to wherever you are. You can stop, you can draw, you can paint, and we also show you how to share it with your friends and your social networks, and if you want to do something for print, even how to export it to Photoshop and massage it from there.
I know you're now going to be working on 2 new books.
No, I'm doing 2 issues of Justice League.
Okay.
Re-teaming up with Jeff Johns again, which was awesome. Amazing for me because I've always wanted to work with him again, and you know what, I can see myself doing something with him more long-term, you know, in the future. I mean, we would like to work together again, just a matter of what.
Took everything I love and put it into one short story. It's if you're looking for the basic, it's LA Confidential meets Raiders of the Lost Ark, and
that's pretty epic.
It's 2 things that 2 people like. It's the basic gist is stuntman Jack Mason is the guy that makes the jump, takes the punch, but never gets the close-up. Just when he's on the verge of getting real success, his first on-screen credit, he's blacklisted during the Red Scare.
You have to do a 3rd book now. No, I'm kidding. No. What is it? You filming me?
Look at me. Look at me in my special eyes. Because then it's weird if you're just looking right at it. Because then it's like you're looking. It's my special eyes. There's this commercial where they're like, it's a commercial for Context out here, and it's like really dramatic, como una telenovela. Y dice, ya sabes cómo es. Y dice, your contacts are here, sweetie. And he's like, how can that be? I have special eyes.
Well, we're back, Comic Impact. that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Did you catch all that? We will still have our moment of what? So we're going to throw that up there. And the reenactment's going to have to wait until next month. So you're going to have to be patient for the Downton Abbey reenactment. But that's going to happen soon, so don't forget about that. I hope you've enjoyed this clip show, essentially, is what it is. We'll be back at the comic store next month, and we'll catch up on everything. So, did you catch all that?